Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Ananya Banerjee from Swami Vivekananda Institute of Modern Science. Today, my topic of discussion is RFLP, that is Restriction Fragment Length Polymorphism. Restriction Fragment Length Polymorphism together constitutes a polymorphic molecular marker and are defined as variations among different individuals of a species in the length of restriction fragments obtained from identical region of their genome due to the presence or absence of a recognition site for the same restriction endonuclease in the same region of the chromosome. To make it more clear, we can say that restriction fragment length polymorphism or RFLP is a technique that uses the variations in homologous DNA sequences, which is known as polymorphism, in order to distinguish individuals, populations, or species, or to identify the location of a specific gene or some specific genes within a sequence. RFLP may refer to a polymorphism itself as detected through the differing locations of restriction enzyme sites or to a related laboratory technique by which such differences can be illustrated. Now, before getting into the detail of RFLP, let us first know what is polymorphism. DNA genetic sequences vary considerably from one individual to another. These changes are collectively called DNA variants. Most of the DNA variants have little apparent functional significance, in which case they are known as DNA polymorphisms. Now, by convention, a polymorphism is a difference in DNA sequence that occurs in less than equal to 1% of the population. Since only about 1 to 2% of the human genome contains sequences for protein coding genes, the great majority of polymorphism will not directly affect gene activity. Although a polymorphism falling within a regulatory region in the genome might have some functional implications. Some DNA variants can alter an amino acid in the protein if the change in amino acid does not interfere with the protein's function. This might be termed as a neutral variant or neutral polymorphism. Some variants do not change an amino acid but might still impact on gene function through changes in splicing. If the amino acid change does have an effect on protein or gene function, it is called mutation. Now, DNA polymorphisms are used for many purposes in molecular medicine, from forensic DNA typing to DNA linkage analysis, that is a technique that allows disease to be traced through families. Now there are a number of different DNA polymorphism, including single nucleotide polymorphism, variable number of tandem repeats, for example it consists of mini and microsatellites, then transposable elements, for example allorepeats, then short tandem repeats, then structural alteration or polymorphism, and copy number variations. Different forms of DNA polymorphism can be tracked by using a variety of techniques. Some of these techniques include restriction fragment length polymorphism with southern blots, then polymerase chain reaction, then hybridization technique using DNA microarray chips, and genome sequencing. Now, let us know the molecular basis of RFLP. As I said that in all organisms, natural DNA sequence variation occur throughout the genome. Because most of the human genome does not code for a protein, a large amount of sequence variation is acceptable in humans. It has been estimated in humans that base changes occur between different individuals every 200 nucleotides or so. These variation in the DNA sequence, which is referred to as DNA polymorphism, may create or destroy restriction endonuclease recognition site. As a result, the pattern of restriction fragment lengths from the same region of the genome may differ between two individuals. Loss of a site due to mutation will result in the appearance of a larger restriction fragment and the disappearance of two smaller restriction fragments. On the other hand, formation of a new site will result in the loss of a larger fragment and its replacement with two smaller fragments. As a result of that, restriction endonuclease cut DNA wherever their recognition sequences are encountered so that changes in the DNA sequence due to insertion or deletion of bases, base substitutions, or rearrangements involving the restriction sites can result in the gain, loss, or relocation of the restriction site. Now, if we see the figure, we can clearly see that the insertion can cause increase in fragment size, deletion can cause decrease fragment size, base changes they can lead to gaining of new sites, base changes can also lead to the elimination of sites, and sometimes rearrangements affect fragment size if restriction sites are involved. The RFLP between two individuals, it can be detected by gel electrophoresis, then transferred to nitrocellulose membrane and detected by hybridization with a labeled probe specific for a particular chromosomal region in them. Now let us see one example which will make the molecular basis little more clear to us. In this example, shown DNA is treated with two different restriction enzymes, that is restriction endonuclease A and restriction endonuclease B, which cut the DNA at different sequences. The resulting fragments are subjected to Southern blot analysis, that is, they are separated by gel electrophoresis and then transferred to nitrocellulose membrane, which is detected by hybridization with a radioactive probe, which bind to the indicated DNA region. Since no differences between the two chromosomes occur in the sequence recognized by restriction endonuclease B, only one fragment is produced as indicated by a single hybridization band. However, treatment with restriction endonuclease A produces fragments of two different lengths, that is the two different bands which are seen, indicating that a mutation has caused a loss of a particular restriction site, that is A2. Now, RFLP markers are inherited in a Mendelian fashion as codominant markers. Now, what are codominant markers? Codominant markers are markers for which both alleles are expressed when co-occurring in an individual. Therefore, with codominant markers, heterozygotes can be distinguished from homozygotes, allowing the determination of genotypes and allele frequencies at loci. Now, RFLP as a molecular marker is specific to a single clone or restriction enzyme combination. Most RFLP markers are codominant, that is, both alleles in heterozygous sample will be detected. Here both alleles are expressed in molecular phenotypes shown as bands on gels. It is highly locus specific. In the case of an individual heterozygous for two allelic RFLP pattern, on alternative chromosome, the phenotype includes both of the patterns as shown in the figure. The codominance mode of inheritance is a strength of RFLP markers. In the mapping population, polymorphic RFLP bands segregate in a Mendelian fashion. In this example, a base substitution within the 8 kilobase pair fragment leads to the gaining of a new restriction site. For homozygous AA, one band of 8 kilobase pair should be generated. For homozygous BB, two bands of 3 kilobase pair and 5 kilobase pair should be generated. For heterozygous AB, 3 bands of 8 kilobase pair from allele A, 3 kilobase pair and 5 kilobase pair both from allele B should be generated. Now let us discuss about the steps involved in RFLP analysis. At first, DNA is extracted from blood, saliva or other samples and then purified. The purified DNA is digested using restriction endonucleases. The recognition sites of these enzymes are generally 4 to 6 base pairs in length. The shorter the sequence recognized, the greater the number of fragments generated from digestion. The restriction fragments produced during DNA fragmentation are analyzed using gel electrophoresis. The fragments are negatively charged and can be easily separated by electrophoresis, which separate molecules based on their size and charge. The gel is then exposed to a chemical to denature double-stranded DNA to single-stranded form. The DNA is then transferred to nylon membrane by Southern blot technique. The nylon membrane is then exposed to solution with radioactive complementary nucleotide probes that hybridize to specifically chosen DNA sequences on nylon membrane. The nylon membrane is then placed against X-ray film where hybridized radioactive probes cause exposure of X-ray film, producing an autoradiogram showing differences in pattern to detect polymorphism. Now, there are several applications of RFLP. For example, if an individual is heterozygous for 2 alleles of an RFLP, these heterozygous locus can be used as a marker in case of chromosomal mapping. Although at first the locus of RFLP is not necessarily known, but as more and more RFLPs are found, they can be mapped in relation to gene loci and in relation to other RFLP loci, and their position gradually saturate the genetic map. The RFLP are not biologically significant, but they can be used to map interesting gene and can act as position from which these genes can be cloned by positional cloning. So RFLP can be used in case of genetic mapping. Secondly, in an extension of the mapping analysis, RFLP alleles can be used as diagnostic tools. For example, if it can be estimated in a family with a record of a certain disease that the people who have the disease also carry a specific allele of a RFLP, then this fact suggests that not only the RFLP locus is linked to the disease gene locus, but furthermore that the specific RFLP allele is in cis arrangement with the diseased allele. Hence, a RFLP allele become a diagnostic marker for the disease, and this information can be used in genetic counseling. In this, RFLP can be used for the diagnosis of molecular disease like sickle cell anemia. RFLP can also be used to measure genetic divergence between different population or related species. The restriction site difference is an effective difference in DNA. So, a measure of total number of RFLP differences represent a measure of genetic difference. Hence, RFLP are important in the studies of genetic evolution as well. RFLP can also be used in forensic science, for example, in case of DNA fingerprinting for criminal identification or in settling dispute of parentage. RFLP can be used. It can also be used for personal identification, in case of plant breeding, in case of characterization of genetic diversity, or in case of species identification. Now, we all know that RFLP and RAPD are different types of genomic markers. Let us now differentiate between RFLP and RAPD. RFLP is a non-PCR based technique, whereas RAPD is a PCR based technique. In case of RFLP, restriction enzymes are needed, whereas restriction enzymes are not needed in case of RAPD. RFLP does not require any primer, whereas RAPD it requires primer. RFLP only 1 to 3 loci are detected, whereas in RAPD 1 to 10 loci are detected. RFLP can detect allelic variants. RAPD it cannot detect allelic variants. RFLP technique is comparatively more reliable, whereas RAPD technique is comparatively less reliable. In case of RFLP, large quantity of purified DNA is required, that is 2 to 10 microgram, whereas in case of RAPD, quantity of DNA required for analysis is less. Different species specific probes are required in case of RFLP, whereas same primer with arbitrary sequence can be used for different species in case of RAPD. Advantages of RFLP. Now, RFLP is a highly robust methodology with good transferability between laboratories. No such sequence informations are required in case of RFLP. It is highly recommended for phylogenetic analysis between related species. It is well suited for constructing genetic linkage maps. Moreover, the simplicity, that is given the availability of suitable probes, the technique can readily be applied for any plants. It can provide locus-specific markers. Probes could be used in related species, and RFLP markers, they show Mendelian fashion. Disadvantages of RFLP. Since its invention, RFLP has been a widely used genome analysis technique which is employed in forensic science, medicines, and in genetic studies. But however, it has become almost obsolete with the advent of some relatively simple and less expensive DNA profiling technologies, for example PCR. RFLP procedures, it requires numerous steps and takes weeks to yield result, while the techniques such as PCR, it can amplify the target DNA sequence in little. Disadvantages of RFLP. Since the invention of RFLP, it has been widely used in genomic analysis technique employed in forensic science, medicine, and genetic studies. However, nowadays, it is not used after the invention of some less expensive and simple DNA profiling technologies like PCR. RFLP procedure requires numerous steps and takes weeks to yield result, while other techniques like PCR, it can amplify target DNA sequence in less than few hours. Additionally, RFLP require a large DNA sample, the isolation of which can be laborious and time-consuming process. For all these reasons, RFLP is now not in use nowadays. It also requires a specific probe library. It requires radioactive and fluorescent probes. Automation is also not possible in case of RFLP. Low level of polymorphism in some species can lead to some erroneous result. Low number of loci analyzed per assay. It also requires considerable skill and effort. As I said, it is time consuming, especially with single copy proof. It is also a little bit costly. It also is a moderately demanding technically. Thank you. If you like my video, do like and subscribe.